Today I'm going to go for a walk in the dark, alone. Actually with this. Hey guys, so to be honest I don't actually have any plans for this video. It's just a really nice night, so I wanted to go out and take a walk, and I thought I've hardly taken any night photos or long exposures on film before, so why not give it a shot? That's a fun little broken bench. Let's start with that. So let's see what we've got. It's Acros, Portra 400, Portra 160. Wait, this is 2001. Maybe not tonight. Yeah, Portra 400. Okay, we're set up. My light meter said f8 for 8 seconds. I didn't do my homework on reciprocity like an idiot, so I dropped it down to f5.6 just to give me a little extra light. Let's see what happens. Just had my first experience of people shouting at me, "What are you doing?" The joys of night photography. This is the Circus school that I studied at between 2008 and 2011. It's inside a massive old church, which they kitted out into a circus school. Pretty cool conversion, honestly. I wonder if we can get something here. So I've decided on a portrait orientation shot of this cool entrance here. I'd also quite like to get a shot of the tower with its beautiful crown on. But as you can see, it's really dark, and I'm going to totally wing this exposure. Just found this garage and I quite like the inside-outside lighting balance, but there's a massive light over there which is kind of glaring up any composition I can find. So let's try some things. There's no way you can see it, but there's a little stool here. I don't know, that could be interesting. Oh, what's that? There's a little bike. Oh, that's fun. Yeah. Let's get a shot of that bike. Well, this is such a cute little carriageway. I wonder if it's possible to see enough of that without completely blowing that out. Believe it or not, in 5 years of film photography, I've never taken a photo of a gas station. Can't think of a more apt starting moment than a medium format Portra 400 nighttime photography video on YouTube. Welcome back inside. So like a proper idiot, I looked up reciprocity tables after I got home from taking long exposures on film and found out that Portra is particularly bad on that front. Probably should do a quick tangent for those who don't know what I'm talking about when I say reciprocity. Basically, if you double the exposure time of a photo, you double the exposure or brightness of that photo. So a 10-second long exposure should be twice as bright as a 5-second long exposure. However, as a film is exposed to light, it becomes less and less sensitive over time, which means in some cases you need to actually expose 3 or 4 or more times longer just to double the exposure of a photo. Every different company, different film stock, they all react differently to light, so it's very important to check the reciprocity table for the film that you're using. For example, let's take Fuji Acros 100, considered the gold standard of long exposures on film. If your light meter says expose for a minute, then you can actually expose for a minute and you'll get the correct exposure. However, if your light meter says you should expose for 1 hour, on Acros you should actually expose for 1.5 hours to get the right exposure, because it becomes a bit less sensitive towards that amount of time. Now, compare that to Portra. With a reading on your meter as low as 8 seconds, you should actually expose for 16 seconds to get a correct exposure. And something like an hour reading on your light meter should be exposed for 4 hours on Portra if you want to get a good light. So you can see it's definitely really important to check that out. It's really important to know that before you go out and do that kind of exposure. That said, I'm very happy with my photos. Luckily all my exposures were 8 seconds or below, and I just adjusted the aperture to try and let in a bit more light than my light meter said. So in that case I was probably only half a stop under in most cases. Nothing that couldn't be fixed in post with maybe a bit more contrast, a bit more grain, but honestly I'm really happy with how they came out, especially this one tower shot. First of all, I didn't even know you could see the stars in the middle of the city. And behind a massive bright lighting structure like that, it really shows off the crazy dynamic range of film, especially Portra. So yeah, I'm really happy with how they came out. I'm definitely pumped to get out and do some more night exposures. And let me know if you've got any good experiences or bad experiences or tips for long exposures on film at night down below. Also, give a little like, maybe a share, gently stroke the subscribe button, just hard enough to make sure it actually clicks. And I'll see you next time. Ole!